Hello everyone, we just finished our big book of Alice in Wonderland Through the Looking Glass, and now we're working on the small version, and this is really cute. You can take this tutorial and use this to make, use any paper on it, and you'll have a nice little book. It would make a great gift, I would say. So we're going to make this book the base of it in this album. I'm probably going to have two different videos, one for constructing the outside of the album and one for the pocket page, page 1 and page 2. So what we're going to need here is two different thicknesses of paper. We have our regular 80-pound cardstock. I'm using by American Crafts. And then we also need 100-pound cardstock. I buy this in a big thick pack. I think it comes with 100 sheets, but they're 100 pounds. And I use it often for the pullouts of this because it's just a little stiffer paper, and it's good for when you have something in the middle of your pocket page. So that is what I used for this construction of this base album. So it's not as thick as chipboard, but we don't want it too thick or too heavy because it's inside the other book. So 100 pounds worked great. So let me give you your measurements, and you can write these down and then cut them, pause the video. So for the 100-pound cardstock, we need two pieces that are 8.5 by 9. One spine piece, it's 9 by 1 1/8. So that's 1 and 2 lines after 1. And one piece, it's going to be in between our one pocket page that we have, and that's 8 1/4 by 7.5. Okay, so for the 80-pound cardstock, we need several different measurements. And one is for the pocket page, one's for the to cover the inside front and back covers, and this is to wrap the book. So I played around with these measurements. I'm going to adjust it on the original cut list because I made this album a little thicker than originally, so these measurements are different. So I'm going to update that. If you printed out the master cut list, just be sure to look and make sure, because this is different. So one piece is going to be 12 by 9.5. One is going to be 12 by 9. And in the middle, it's going to be 12 by 4. Okay, so we need two pieces of 8 by 8, and that's going to cover the inside of this front and back. And two pieces for to make the pocket page, and that's 9 by 7 3/4. Okay, so you can hit pause and get those all cut. And now we're going to start making the book. Put that up here. So I have my pieces, these are the 8.5 by 9, and I put score tape on these already because I was playing around with what size sheets I needed to wrap this. So I did that already. So hit pause again, but you just want to tape these all up. I wound up using two pieces of 3/8 and 1 1/4 in the middle, and that worked fine. And these are, I believe this is 2 inches. I really should remember that. No, it's 2.5. So I used 3 pieces of 2.5 and 2 3/8 inch. Okay, and I pressed them all down with my bone folder. And now we want to take our 80-pound cardstock. So I have my two 8 by 8 sheets, and I don't need those right at the moment, so I'm going to set that aside. I have these 3 pieces that I do need to cut, so I will cut these with you. One is going to be 12 by 9.5. And one is going to be 12 by 9. Okay, and our middle piece is going to be 12 by 4. This one is awfully close. just to make sure. Cut that. Okay, so let's bring out the scoreboard or score runner, and I'm going to score 1/2 inch on both sides. I have my flat side facing up. And I'm going to put some 3/8 inch tape on here. Bone folder, and I'm going to fold these. Okay, so like we did with the bigger book, I'm going to take one of my pieces. So I've got my 12-inch side going across horizontally right now. I turn the paper, and I'm going to put this book, this middle piece right on top there. Peel off the backing. Sometimes I take some of the tape when I peel that off. Okay, so I'm going to line this up so it's nice and straight right there, and it's the two pieces of paper are right up against each other. I don't see any space in between. I'm going to press that down. Walk myself over, press that down, and press down here, and there we go. And this is how we just make one long piece that we're going to wrap the book with. Nice and lined up. Okay. All right, so now I have one nice big piece of paper here. So let's do our dry fit, make sure everything fits. Okay. What I am watching for here, this crease right here and here can't be in our spaces right here. So let me just look where this falls. Okay. This winds up like 1/4 inch in. I'm going to see, since I don't know which is my 9.5, which is my 9, let me see if this is better. If I turn it over. Yeah, that looks a little better. Okay, so this paper right here, I knew one was shorter just so I could, this is the 9-inch side, this is the 9.5. Okay, so 9 inches is on the left. I'm going to take my ruler, put it right at the edge here, and draw a vertical line with my pencil. And do the same across the bottom. And we're looking like we did in the big book. We just need that intersection point where the vertical and horizontal cross each other, because that's going to be the corner of the front cover of this book. And the rest of the pieces fall into place based on that first piece we lay down. Okay, so let's test this out once again before we take all this tape off. Okay. Now, just to make sure we're all doing this right, I've got my longer side, the 9-inch side is vertical and the 8.5 is horizontal. Okay, so it's a longer book. And it looks like this score line falls right about here, which is almost an inch in. No score lines are in my in between my spine piece. This score line winds up, looks more like 3/4 of an inch in. So that's fine, as long as it doesn't land in your fold here. Now, as far as the space you need between the front cover and the spine piece, I'm going to use 1 piece of my chipboard. In the bigger book, we use 2 pieces. But I think 1 piece, since this is a smaller, thinner book, is going to be plenty. Okay, so let's get ready to tape this all down and set it in place. I'm going to do my front cover first. Let's just take off the backing. Okay, now I'm not just going to put it down, I'm also going to hold it at an angle and make sure I'm in frame here. This is my intersection point, so I'm going to hold it there. I can see that I'm right along that pencil mark vertically, and if I just slowly drop it down, I'm right along this pencil mark across the bottom. Okay, so now for our spine piece, let's take these backings off. Okay. And I've got my spacer here. This is just a piece of my chipboard. I'm gonna hold it right flush with the bottom here. Okay, so this piece goes right up against that. And it's lined up, it's running right along this bottom pencil mark. There we go. I am going to use bookbinding tape. We didn't really need the Tyvek here because it's just much thinner and everything. So, but I am going to use bookbinding tape, and that will be plenty to keep these corners, edges of our book from cracking. I'm going to do my last piece here. Got this, my spacer, and I'm at an angle, and I can look here, feel with my thumb, and I'm just going to put this down, and it runs right along that bottom pencil mark. Okay, so this looks very nice. We have enough space at the top and bottom and sides, looking good. So let's wrap this, and then we'll put our bookbinding tape in the middle here. Okay, so I need my tape, and I'm gonna run a strip all across, all the way around. I'm just leaving off a little bit in the corners because I'm going to be cutting those. So basically I just go a little bit past this corner and rip there. Okay, and then let's go right across the bottom of this 100-pound paper and go all the way around. So, whoops, thought this was our last side. Now we have one more. All right, and let's press this down. Okay, and let's cut the corners. Okay, so I have my mitering tool here. And again, if you don't, this is just a 1-inch space. So let me show you with this. Where'd my pencil go? I need to make like an apron and hold all my tools close to me because they wind up all over the place. But if you don't have this mitering tool, take a ruler and go put it the corner of your ruler up to the corner of this page. Go in about 2 lines, 2 or 3. I'm just going to split the difference, go 2.5, just so I know I don't get too close. I need a little bit of space there. And then take that and draw a line. Okay, so 2, 2.5, and draw your line. This away for another day. This is it's a corner mitering tool, and I got it at colorwaysarts.com. I'm sure you can look that up though and get one at other places. So now I'm just going to cut this, all my corners. And now we're gonna be folding this paper over. So I just want to kind of get it used to being folded. Go all the way around and just kind of gently fold this. All right, so let's start with the bottom here and just take all the backing off the bottom. And I'm going to start in the middle and just take my fingers and fold this paper over. I'm starting on the desk and I'm just going right over top. And then same over here, just gonna and then I can take the bone folder and press it down, and any kind of bubbles or whatever, you can just press those right out. It makes a nice crisp line right here if you use this bone folder. Okay, I'm gonna just put a little bit of crease right in here. And let's turn it over and do the other side, the other horizontal side. I usually start with the bigger side and do the smaller ones last. Go. All right, so start in the middle, fold that over. Okay, and I'm gonna push this right up there. Okay, so now we will pick a side, any side, left or right, and take that backing off. Now we're not going to just fold this right over, just like in the big book when we made that. I'm going to repeat myself just in case someone only wants to make a small book. I want to take these corners and tuck them in and then fold this over. So it's kind of like if you're wrapping a gift. If I were to just fold it over like that, you'd have a little piece sticking out of the corner. So I want to kind of tuck this piece in. I'm going to take the bone folder and just sort of pull this corner piece in just a little. It's a little trickier with thinner. So I'm going to just take it under and just kind of there. I just need a little bit to be folded over. Try that again over here. Okay, and now let's fold this over. Okay, looks good. So if you can see that, it makes a nice crisp corner. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Bend this over. Okay. looks good. Okay, I love it. Okay, so the last thing here, one of the last things, let's take our bookbinding tape and I'm just gonna run it. Let me see if one piece will cover both sides. Sort of, let me see. I don't know. It's awfully close. If you have a 3-inch roll of tape, you could just take one piece and go, but it's awfully close where I'm only gonna have a little bit on each side. So I might just do 2 pieces. It's all gonna be covered up with any lines that you see from having 2 pieces will be covered up with our design paper. You're only going to see just a little bit from the top cover to the spine. That's it. That's all that's going to show. And that's what you want, because you don't want that to crack. So let me look real quick and see if I can, you know, I think I can get away with 1 piece. So that's what I'm going to do. 3 would be ideal, 3 inches, but I'm just going to put this so here's a score line and there's a score line, and I'm going to carefully just pull this all the way down, turn it over, okay, and I'm going to cut this. Don't start at the top or anything. You want to come into the book so you don't see any lines up here. So that covers everything. Where's my crease? I just want to make a little line. Okay, so this will get used to bending. There we go. Okay, got a piece here and a piece on the other side. Looks good. This is also not super sticky, this tape. So if you want to adjust it, you can. You won't hurt anything. You might need a little bit of your undo. You might not. It's really not sticky that much. So that is it for this. The next video, you're gonna be putting 1 hinge in here. I can't show you how to make that because I don't have a license to. It's copyrighted from www.paperphenomenon.com. If you've ever been to that website or taken some of those tutorials, this is just 1 hinge you're gonna put here. It's a lot of people make a 1/2 inch hinge. I make 3/4 inch hinges, so that's the only difference. Whatever instructions you use to make a 1/2 inch, just make it 3/4. And we're gonna put it right in the middle and have a little bit of space on each side. What I usually do is have a 1/2 inch at the top and 1/2 inch at the bottom. So this is a 9 inch, length book. And so our hinge is gonna be 8 inches and then a little bit extra to make it come out a little bit. Won't be a full 12-inch piece of paper, but you will see. You just need to take your 3/4 inch and have about 1.5 inches or 2 on either side. And we are going to cover this up. Once you have your hinge in there, you will take your 2 8x8 pieces that we cut in the beginning and put them right here so it covers up everything. And all you see is this cloth tape right here. So I will see you in the next video, and we will start with our first and only pocket page, and we'll make page 1 and page 2.